There are Egyptian American Muslim women. Terror still screaming in my head. They're clearly facing the death penalty. I in their psycho terrorist minds, they still think they have a shot at trafficking me. It's not happening. So every morning they scream and scream and scream in my head until they realize I'm not budging, and then they start attacking me with the weapon. So they attack me in my sleep, they make my face swell, they attack my sciatica, my sinuses. I feel like they're children. I actually feel like they're adult children. Like grown ass women that don't know how to stop regressing. I am 41 years old with a 16-year-old fucking daughter, okay? And these stupid fucking psycho bitches hit two boys with a fucking car. Mark and Jacob Iskander framed Rebecca Grossman. They murdered David Basili, Bernadette Alosk, murdered. Now, these are people they just dropped, okay? Like, they just had heart attacks and they died. Daniel Atkins, they gave him a heart attack. They laid his body down on a train track. They took control of his mind, turned him into a puppet, walked him over to a train track with two girls that he was out with for the night. He had called me that night and invited me out. And of course, I was fighting with my ex husband. I was 27. This is how long they've been in like playing with my head and my family's head and my dad. They herniated his discs. This is how serious this is. Herniated his disc. They're amputating people. The women are amputating people with the weapon that the bitches are using to talk into my head. Anyways, they at that time they took control of his mind, walk him to a train track with two girls, lay his body on a train track. One of the girls wakes up. Now, this part blows my mind. She misses the train. She gets up before the train runs her over. How at what point did she get up? Like, clearly enough time to get up and get off the tracks before the train approached. When she got up, she didn't have time to wake up Daniel and the other girl. And she's like, they fell asleep on the tracks. No, they didn't. It seems to me they would have heard the fucking train from miles and miles away. You would have felt the vibration of the train. It seems as though the terrorists gave him a heart attack. Her and the girl literally murdered them in cold blood. And people don't think they don't see it that way. They don't, unless you see blood and gore. But it's like someone stabbed somebody in the fucking heart, literally. And they laid his body down. Okay, the bitches have so much blood on their hands, it's not even funny. It fills up pools and pools. I'm in a lot of fucking danger. My kids are in a lot of fucking danger. In a lot of danger because I'm not just talking to like psycho terrorists that have a purpose and it's like, okay, I'll follow their instructions. They have a way out. We're talking about retarded terrorists, dude. The bitch doesn't have a way out. The women don't have a way out. They're stupid. They need me to die so they could get access to the records because they asked to use permission to use the weapon that they're using to talk into my head, to launder money, traffic, murder people with, okay? And then, and turn around and make sure everybody, they're suffocating me because they're children. turn around, murder anybody that has entitlements to the fucking records, and without leaving any records behind. So that's why all their victims typically, most typically, are early 20s, right before they can pull student loans, before they can get pregnant. Most of the time they don't have kids, no welfare, no social security, no nothing. No retirement. Nothing so that the government can't say like we are entitled to these records. My dad, who was they're playing with my head. The women are playing with my head so I don't communicate, and they know it's reported. Like, when they play with my head, it's on the record. That's how stupid the women are. This is how frustrating this is. She's causing me a stroke so I don't discuss the crimes they're committing with this weapon that they're using to talk in my fucking head. My dad was a physician, okay? He had his own clinic. He paid his rent was always up to date. He had no loans to pay for the rent. Obviously, you don't need a loan for that. My house was paid off. The cars, anything that had a significant loan, okay, that he couldn't we couldn't do on our own, they made sure was paid. Oh, actually, I think it was anything that was just solely in his name. And then anything that was left over, they made sure my mom could pay it off. Like, anything, so that they could drain her. They left her with a tax bill of like 100K, dude. Maybe, was it 100K or 70K, something like that? My dad was dying. He had 3 herniated discs, 5 heart attacks, 27 stents in his heart, and a defibrillator. And he would drag his feet to work to pay our bills. And the stupid terrorist bitch talking in my head is like, we're just going to make your hair fall out till and we're going to hurt your feelings and call you ugly and stupid and make your face swell and make you feel insecure about yourself till you don't want to take pictures and you don't want to go out with your family and you want to go sleep around with men until you catch AIDS and die. Like, this is what they want to do to me. Because all day long, all I think about is like, okay, well, if I do drugs and I die, bitch, you're responsible because you're using a telepathy, mind control, mind reading war weapon. Plus, all these claims about drugs are being made, but nothing is solid. So I'm sure the U.S. government and any other government, any other government across the globe is going to want to take a look at these records to see, bring all of their medical health scientists together to take a look to see what's going on with the people's minds when they're on drugs. And this would be the prime opportunity when a bitch has all my algorithms, she has my, what I think, how I feel, the drugs I take, how they affect me, everything. Although I don't do drugs, but I'm saying the psychiatric medications I take. They want to know these things. Why isn't it working on some women or some people and not others, like myself? Why don't the psychiatric meds work on me? Well, I mean, that's fucking obvious because it's terrorists talking in my fucking head. Talking in my head. They're talking in my head. Not my mind is producing voices on its own. There are terrorists talking in my head with a telepathy weapon, and they do not live here. And mind you, they can't be anywhere. This is how, and the bitches are airheaded. How are you going to tell me you're Egyptian, American Muslim? And I know they are, and they speak fluent Arabic, like fluent, okay? I know, you just know when you know, okay? And we don't have a big community of Egyptians in the United States, and I know my entire Coptic Orthodox community. I know it's not them. And I have encountered Egyptian American Muslims twice in my life, two women. That's it. One when at a grocery store, I don't know. I was like, oh, I heard her talking, and I was like, you're Egyptian. She's like, yes, I am. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. She's like, yeah, I'm Muslim. She invited me to her house for her kids' pool party. And then another woman whose daughter went to my daughter, or I don't know, her daughter, they're suffocating me again, goes to my daughter's school. These people are clearly not hiding anything. Now, the terrorists talking in my head, they don't live here. And the two women I'm talking about, one lives in San Clemente, and I have no idea where, what's her name, lives, but she does not live here. And I wouldn't have a problem if I said, so and so, I want to go to your house. I want to meet your husband. I want to meet your kids. Without a doubt, she takes pictures all the day, all the time. She's on social media. She's a professor at Cal State Fullerton. She's a sweetheart. The bitches talking in my head are psycho. Like I just feel like if I saw them, I'd be able to call them out. But I never see them. They don't want me anywhere near them because they know. And it's just this gut feeling like if I ever saw these psychos, I know I'd be able to call them out. And for and mind you, they're causing me a stroke. They're filthy fucking rich because they're laundering money. They are several men and women sleeping in the same fucking house. No kids. No kids enter that house. Heterosexual married men with houses go to that house where they're talking into my head from and sleep in the same house together. And they talk in my head in the middle of the night, dude. That's how I know. And I'm like, you guys don't have neighbors? You don't have, people aren't suspicious? You don't ever invite people over? It's just you guys? So I don't know how big this house is. I don't know if it's in a really nice, super secluded neighborhood. People don't know. People's neighbors are spread apart. Like, I have no idea. But I'm just like, there are no kids that enter the house? That part is suspicious. And two married men. Like, if you, at minimum. So, why would that have houses? That have houses, brothers or not. Like, why the fuck would you sleep in the same house if you have a house? Your own house with your wife. That doesn't add up. The bitches are talking in my fucking head. And they think it's a game. And every day, it's like, it's to the point where it's like, I know what's going on. And I'm going to avoid everything possible for them to get away with the murdering me. Because they're trying to ultimately make it look like there's something to investigate here when there's not. That's what they said they needed the weapon for. And because it's obvious there's nothing for them to investigate with me, okay, that they're laundering money. And people are going to want to take a look at their records. The United States is like, this is our territory, this is our government, our money, our people. We owe money to countries where we have a huge deficit in this country that we have an obligation to fulfill. We need to check your fucking records. You're making an awful lot of fucking money. And you're behind the weapon like it's too much. It's too many red flags. So, and Renee doesn't need investigating. They're going to look at these bitches crazy, dude. So they're screaming in my head literally every second of the fucking day. Every day. And they want me to sound violent. So it's not like schizophrenia and I'm delusional. Like we've all seen people with mental health disability, like that have Down syndrome. Like, I imagine schizophrenia to be a form of Down syndrome. Like, oh, the voices in my head are giggly, ha ha ha. They like the birds chirping like I do. They like the this, they like the that. No, the terrorist talking in my head if they want, and she's like, oh, okay, we can do that. Like, shove it down your throat. No. These are psychos, okay? They're talking inside of my head. And they don't want me saying it because the government is watching them. They want to know if they're really investigating or if they're fucking laundering money. Now I know, and now I know that the weapon actually belongs to Israel. That's why Israel's blowing up Palestine. And it's like, okay, fuck you. You're using our weapon on top of the fact that you guys not only you've robbed our country and our people of everything, you want to control the trade lines, blah blah. Like that's why they're fucking losing their fucking marbles. And this weapon is fucking crazy. The terrorists talking in my head don't want to fucking disarm. And there are all these laws because it's such a sophisticated weapon, and it's not like they can just do what they want to do. They can't just take over these psycho terrorists. They have to meet certain obligations to prove that they're terrorists, because the terrorists talking in my head they can apparently, if they clear their records, they can run around pretending that they love Muslims when they're really the reason why they're all getting bombed. Take their money and make it seem like they're the ones who are going to patch things up. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. These bitches are murdering Christians and Muslims. They're terrorists. They're using the name of Islam as a scapegoat. So, all that to say, the stupid psycho bitch, after me understanding all of that, okay, and starting to know it more in detail and being more curious about, what is it really discussing? What's going on in politics? What's going on? What happened over, what are these wars about? They're making me curious, because I've never been curious, because they've been playing with my head, because they knew if I knew all about what was going on, if I was involved in the politics, if I understood the history, then I'd piece things together. They're suffocating me. They're children. They're like grown-ass women, children my age, that keep progressing like retards, dude. They're murdering me and trying to find a way to get away with it. They're suffocating me. I know all of this, obviously. So it's like, next step is like, how the fuck do these bitches intend to murder me? They can't, if I do drugs and they don't rush, they're the only ones who know that I'm dying and don't rush me, get me help as soon as possible. They're considered suspects to a crime. If I die on medication, like the psychiatric medication, which has severe side effects, and they don't go prove that I'm schizophrenic and it's necessary to take the medication and disarm and conclude their investigation with me, they get sentenced to death, because it's obvious they have something to hide. If if I have any medical issues whatsoever, if I'm seeing the doctor constantly, getting physically checked, if anything happens to me in the course of my time that disables me from working, okay, they're going to want to see. They're going to want to see the records. Not their health records, and not only that, they're on U.S. soil, and I'm collecting Social Security. I have school debt. I have kids. They're playing with my head. I went up against this. They're playing with my head. See, I'm stuttering. I can't get the words out. Saddleback. I went to Saddleback Unified School District. Okay. I couldn't actually utter those words. Like, they are actually playing with my head and trying to make me sound stupid. Stupid. When it's actually, this is murder. They're electrocuting me with a war weapon. So the women know damn well, and it's the fucking women. They're stupid. They're psycho. It's the fucking women. I don't care. In my opinion, I think the men are just, I have a feeling that's why the women had to bail them out in the first fucking place. I have a feeling they're bailing them out, and the reason why they had to bail them out is because the men they're just cold-blooded murdering people, and it's just, they do it and they get it over with. The women will break your back, rot your limbs, make your teeth raw. They will literally drag a human being through the mud and like torture them and abuse them in ways that are unimaginable. Far worse. I mean, it's good if it ends in murder. It's far worse than the murders the men committed, honestly. The women are really fucking trash, dude. I'm not fucking joking. The women are stupid weird. And all I want to fucking do, and then destroying the name of my family, and they want to parade around like they're innocent women that love their kids and take care of them and have money. And they want to go celebrate once they have the records destroyed because all the people have died. The U.S. government has no entitlements to the records that are produced with the telepathy weapon. They get away with it. They want to go celebrate murdering people and the money that they laundered. Partying after murdering people. And there are people that are crying. Nancy Iskander crying. She's just celebrated what hers would have been her son's 16th birthday. Okay? My daughter is 16. She would have been celebrating. The terrorists are playing with my head. She would have been buying him a car. They would have bought him a car this year. The terrorists are making me have strokes right now. That's how stupid the women are. And it's on the record. Like, bitch, okay, well then I'm just gonna do things that force you to murder me and quickly because obviously I'm not suicidal, bitch, and I want you sentenced to fucking death. And then it's like, and you have to talk in my head, and they're hysterical, and they're constant, and they're like, stop going out with your family, stop, like, they want to say it so blatantly. And the men are like, you're not one of us, go, get the fuck out of here, you're a stupid, slutty bitch. Like, no, I'm clearly not slutty, I don't sleep with anybody. And I love my family. No, on the contrary, I'm extremely intelligent. I am extremely conservative. Extremely. Like, not even a little bit. I am extremely conservative. You wouldn't, because of what these terrorists did to me, you wouldn't think so in my younger years, but I am extremely conservative. Now, add the layer of knowing that there are terrorists trying to humiliate my family. Oh my God, I've reached another level. Okay, I'm up there with St. Mary. I swear to God, no alcohol. If it is, it's a wedding. Just like St. Mary. Like it's with like a half of a wine glass. I took 2 sips of wine. At a wedding I went to yesterday. It was my cousin's wedding, which they didn't want me to go to. So they kept hurting my feet and hurting my back. Like, okay, that's fine. They already herniated one of the discs in my back. Now they're making my nose. They're like, okay, she's ugly. Look, let's stretch her skin. They're suffocating me. They don't want me going out with successful men. They're like, oh, she got from a successful man who wants to pay her, who could potentially want to pay her way. They know what's going on in his mind when men see me. Like, okay, this is somebody that doesn't look like she's running the streets. She looks like she has her mind. She's not sleeping around. And the minute that they do, they immediately make my face swell, make my hair fall off. This is psychotic. Like, Renee's not making us look like we're investigating her. And now she's saying she hears us in her head. And she doesn't care to go seek medical attention. And she's walking herself into an institution to say that the terrorists talking in her head they're trying to command her to kill herself. Like, that's how stupid this is. Like, I'm walking into a mental health institute and saying, hey, the terrorists talking in my head are telling me to kill myself. Like, okay, you sound suicidal. Let's put it on your medical records. Like, exactly. That's exactly what the fuck I want. I'm done talking. What part of that do the terrorists not understand? I'm done fucking walking my ass into a mental health institute and turning it and saying, take me. Lock me up for a few days. Big deal. Big whoop-de-doo. So what? And they're like, oh, that's so disgusting. The terror's talking in my head. They think I'm a fucking child. It's filthy. I'm not joking. It's gross in there. But these are serial killers. And they're dumb. Like, I want to get as much evidence, give the government as much evidence as possible. I want to flood them with evidence that, hey, I hear voices in my head, and believe me when I say, I know what the fuck I'm doing. They're talking in my head. They're terrorists. I'm submissive. I'm schizophrenic. If that's what the fuck it takes to get these terrorists out of my fucking head. Red flag, red flags, red flags, red flags. Like, all I want to do is flood them with evidence. Get these bitches out of my head and out of my kids' lives. ASAP. That's all that's on my fucking mind, dude. The women are like, okay, we're not making her miserable. I'm not a child. I want you to know, for the government, who's our U.S. government, who's been after these terrorists, I got this. I got this. They're going to end up breaking my back, and they've already mutilated my body. Mutilated my body, and if you can tell already that I'm slurring when I talk, so that you know they're causing me strokes. They're dehydrating my mouth. Okay, they want me insecure of the people, like in front of the people who do not know about the weapon. Look, they're making this part of my lip, and they want me to hold the weapon in an angle that shows my chip tooth, like I do drugs, because apparently the U.S. government is trying to prove that we're innocent to people that they want on their side. They want to start, like, gaining people's support to sentence these terrorists to death. Look at Renee is clearly innocent. So, to you guys, the women are stupid. They're psycho stupid, dude. They're breaking my back to try to stop me from going to church right now. My face is so swollen. My face is excessively swollen. They accumulate the acid in your legs, okay? Homeless people that I've seen, literally, they're amputated from their torso down. They make the acid build up in their legs till their legs raw. And that's how stupid the women are. Because they don't want them going to work or church or looking like they want them to say, they want to say, oh, see, they're suffocating me. Oh, they did drugs so that they can't, not even just did they ruin their life and drag them through the mud, now they're not even workable. They can't even go back and make a change in their life. See, they're doing all this gross stuff to me, like, oh, don't listen to this piece of shit, she's disgusting. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, which is what they said when I walked into the institution. The girl next to me peed on the ground. They're like, ew, see, like, and they want to exaggerate, suffocating me. They're suffocating me. They want to put such an emphasis on everything disgusting. Look, they don't want you to see my forehead because I have pictures that I post of my forehead. Ew. Okay? Because the government knows. They know what I look like. I have pictures. They know that they were playing with every time I took a picture, they would play with my face. They take a picture of me from the worst angles. Every time anybody takes a picture of me. And the terrorists talking in my head are like, Renee's a fucking bitch. Renee's a fucking... This is how stupid they sound. Like, you're not getting away with it. And it's like, okay, she knows. Let's harp on that. Let's just make it obvious we don't care to bother her. And then to bother me. This is murder. Make her sound belligerent. Make her sound belligerent. Yay, she's bothered. Let's make her sound belligerent. It's psycho, dude. They're psycho. They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. Anytime I show any type of emotion of, like, being bothered by how this is obvious now to me and they're not getting away with this, they're like leeches. They'll cling on to it and they'll try to shove it down your throat. Like, that's another tactic that they have. And they want me grabbing the phone. So now it's like I don't even grab the phone when I want to cuss them out. Because it's like I want people to look at me weird, like, who's she talking to? She's not on the phone. And I want people, or I want to be in front of cameras to make it obvious. They're talking in my head. I'm talking to my goddamn self. The terrorists want me to sound like, they want it to look and appear as though I picked up my phone and I'm cussing somebody out. No, they're terrorists talking in my head. They don't want me to appear schizophrenic. So they're like, okay, we'll just make our live stream. We'll just make our live stream. But I'm like, well, I'm live streaming, you idiot. And then mind you, if I'm live streaming and then I don't want to get kicked off the live stream, which enforces more, it makes me even more like want to make sure that I don't get kicked off of YouTube, because here's where I am explaining all that, what I'm going through. There is a major weapon. It's Elon Musk was crying about it, saying the terrorists are causing me a stroke right now. There is a major weapon, okay, that the AI weapon, he was saying we need to cut this out, and he cried. Same with Jordan Peterson. He was like, you Muslims come forward. He was talking about the terrorists talking in my head. Disarm, disarm, please, disarm. They want them to disarm, and they won't. And they won't, because they're like, why don't you fucking figure out how to get your records together? Not their records, but try to figure out how to stop us from manipulating our victims and forcing them out on the street. Well, now I'm on top of it. I'm on top of it. At least with my terrorists. I don't know. I wish I could get to the other victims and say, hey, this is exactly what the fuck you have to do. Sorry if they break your back. It's not something that I can stop. They're breaking mine. But this is how you get them sentenced to death at the very least. Especially if you fucking have kids. They'll get kicked off the weapon naturally. So the weapon has its own security measures, because the government, they don't want it to be biased when someone goes through someone's records. So they give it cues, and they're like, okay, if the person hears voices in their head, that's clearly a crime. So the terrorists talking in my head try to make their voices sound like they're coming from outside. They've been screaming in my head this entire 33 minutes, and not for 1 second, not one word they've said, has been caught on on this live stream, because they're talking solely in my head like I'm a human telephone. And the women are like, okay, well, if we get her belligerent and we get her sounding crazy, we'll get her at least kicked off. They don't want me going to church. It starts in an hour. And then I'm meeting somebody from my Bible study group. We're going to the lake together. They don't want me planning things with people. They're suffocating me. They don't want me thinking about work. They don't want me planning for my day. What loans do we need? I need to call my son's financial aid, make sure that we have money to pay for his apartment. They're playing with me. They're making my nose. They're playing with my sinuses. This is how stupid the women are. Not the men. If it's murder, just fucking do it. Why hurt some every day till the day they die? That's another level of murder. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. Okay, it's the women. It's the women. They don't want it to be blood and gore. They don't want the men stabbing me to death. They want to break my back and send me to the hospital, so that they don't have to see me like bloody, and like that's how they want to they want to handle it. That's how the women, that's their records are the ones where people are becoming disabled. The men's records are when people are being brutally murdered. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. So I record all night long, and so the terrorist is like, okay, we'll just get her to cuss. That's 7 hours just wasted. Like, and she has to throw that away because they talk before I go to bed, try to dictate when I sleep, try to dictate when I wake up, and they want me kicked off YouTube. Like, okay, we'll just make her miserable. And then they're playing with my brain activity. It's like several of them. They're bothering my sinuses, dude. I want them sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. Dude, my head is, it looks like the shape is weird. My hairline is weird. Everything, they destroyed my face. They're like, you're ugly now, bitch. Like, haha, you're fat back. Like, they took a picture of me from behind to show me, like, what I'm leaning over, like, the little roll that was over my dress. And, like, as I was scrolling through pictures, like, look, there you were, you fat bitch, you fat whore, in my head. They don't want me taking pictures and being around my family. This is psycho. They are psycho, dude. They need to be sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head because they're the ones that are sleeping with drug addicts. They're men do drugs for damn sure. Because they're the ones sleeping with drug addicts and fucking psycho felon serial killers. Serial killers. And it just makes, it's not like, why would that be hard to believe? If they're serial killers themselves, if the women are serial killers themselves, why wouldn't they be sleeping with serial killer men? This is crazy. If their parents are serial killers, why wouldn't their kids be serial killers? They're all fucking psycho. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. There are women at that house with apparently no kids, so maybe their kids are adult kids and they're sitting next to them. I want them all sentenced to death. Do you hear me? They're talking in my head. So I'm going to record because I want to make it clear that what I'm hearing in my head I can't capture on this live stream. And continue to be the adult, mature, very conservative woman that I am. And prove that I can't capture their voices on my live stream because they're fucking stupid psycho trash. Plus I discovered certain little what is it called? They're little like things that, what's the word? It's like little loopholes that they can't get around. Like they can't stop talking. The weapon is voice activated, or it's activated by your body being attacked by a foreign body. So this radiation that they're making travel up and down my back to make my back spasm. It reads that. They're making me stutter. Stutter. I'm having a stroke right now. The women are laughing about it. They're stupid weird. They're going to be facing the death penalty. And the women are like, haha, not until you die. And it's like, we'll see about that. I'm going to spit out as much fucking evidence while I'm here as possible so that it's super fucking obvious you're doing it while I'm still here, and make it very clear there's no secrets here, and I want everyone to see the injuries. Like, you're not going to stop me from taking photos. And I really want to take better pictures because this stupid camera, the fucking lens sucks. I'm wondering if I could take it to go get it fixed or send it to one of these if the iPhone repair or the iFix Your Phone repair places and see if they could change the cameras on my camera, on my phone. She's like, I'll just fucking ruin your fucking phone. She's talking in my head right now. One of them. It's just, this is crazy. The women are fucking stupid trash, dude. They need to be sentenced to fucking death. They're dangerous to our kids. They're a danger to our children. They're a danger to our families. They're a danger to your name. They're psycho. And I definitely don't want them running around acting like innocent women that love their kids and love Muslims and want Christians and Muslims to get together after all the shit that they cause. I want those bitches sentenced to fucking death. It makes me sick. And then celebrating with everybody they fooled. I want them sentenced to death. I want to throw them out in front of everybody and expose them. I'm done talking. They're fucking trash. And they're stupid, mind you. This is how simple it is to sentence them to death. This is how easy it is. It's all I got to do is live stream and make sure all the government agencies and the people that govern the weapons, when the records, when they do get flagged, and audit them to see if these terrorists were really playing in my head, make sure that they get the message and make sure that they get the records so that these terrorists don't get away with it. I'm done talking. I want to throw these bitches out in front of them so that they know, hey, guess what? You're not up against shit. These bitches are stupid. Not only are they psycho, terrorist, serial killers, but they are stupid. They're not like, this isn't like your hackers that the U.S. government can just, they can use. They're looking at like, oh my God, this person has this, like, these are unfortunate circumstances, but this is they're better on my team than against me. And this isn't like they're murdering people. They're using their intelligence. The terrorists talking in my head are psychopaths, serial killers. And that's all they're at. That's all they're good at. That's all they know how to do is use the weapon to murder people. That is it. They're worthless. And it came with instructions, mind you. So anybody can do it. The women, I want the women sentenced to death by far more than the men. They're dragging people through the mud. Like, I know this sounds stupid, but I respect the men more for just doing whatever they do. But to all the dragging, he's like, well, then I'll just do it. No, that's still the fucking women. All this time, and he wants to talk about, I'll just do it. That's no. Sorry, no. That's not how the fuck this works, sweetheart. So you could make it sound like, no, those bitches are fucking dumb. And they're trashy. And they're getting sentenced to death. And I'm not fucking playing, homie. We're done talking. They need to stand up on their own 2 fucking feet. And that's all there is to discuss here. The men want to try and step in and protect them. They're dragging people through the mud and murdering them. No, it's not. No, it's not. She's a psycho. It's a click of a button. Daniel Atkins, I knew him for less than a year. The bitches talking in my head have been talking in my head from the time that I knew for 8 years. When they murdered Daniel Atkins, they were playing with my head, but they weren't talking in my head like they are now. That's how and it's just certain things add up. Like I started to put things together. It is really them. They're things that just don't fucking make sense. And I'm like, this is the terrorist. It's the terrorist. It's one of their organization. It's the terrorist talking in my head. They did this shit. They did this shit. And they're framing and defaming people, and I can't run around because if they're criminals, so can the people that are being convicted. But I'm not like, so, and I don't have possession, and that's what the argument is with the weapon. Like, get the records across the globe. Like, get the records so we could really prosecute these stupid psycho terrorists for the crimes they're committing. See, because it's like if they could be criminals, anybody can. So here I am, the records. I'm telling you, now I'm layering up on them. I'm sealing any holes that I can seal because I want them sentenced to death. This is by far, the women are by far the most psychotic criminals that have ever walked the face of this planet. Do you understand me? They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want to send them to Saudi Arabia and I want them sentenced to death there. So the men think I'm playing around. They're stupid. He tried like, oh, look at me, I'm serious. Like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking clown. Here. I'm about to record and make it clear. And now he's admitting he's a serial killer. He's laughing in my head like, bitch, you have no idea what I've done. Like, I don't give a shit, fucking dumbass bitch. Why don't you, stupid psycho terrorist, serial killer, just murder me because it's only a click of a button, or I'm gonna sit here and start screaming that I'm being murdered with this AI, this telepathy, mind control, mind reading war weapon that you're pretending you need to investigate me. Okay, genius? That's what I'm telling the terrorist talking in my fucking head. He's dumb. He's dumb as a doorknob. Here we go. I'm recording to make it clear I can't capture their voices on my live stream. Do you understand me? You stupid airhead, you fuck boy. I'm gonna make sure they get sentenced to fucking death, and I don't give a shit if they're your kids, your daughters, or your fucking sisters, or your wives. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You better get the picture. They're fucking grown ass women, you retard. They're not your children. And mind you, you're getting sentenced to death too, you fucking queer. Fuck you. So, little update now that I'm out of the shower, although I still have to do my hair. Um, while I was in the shower, it was one man. It was probably several, but there was one in particular screaming in my head, making threats over and over. Now it's a woman. Like, okay, let me take jabs this time. They're all screaming in my head. They're Egyptian American, Muslim, women, terrorists, and their psychotic families. I think it's two women. Now it's a different voice. It's a different female voice in my head. So the terrorists are trying to say it's my neighbors. I just want to say the neighbors are screaming, not them. It's terrorists talking in my head. First of all, I share walls with on all four sides, upstairs, downstairs, both side to side. The terrorists talking in my head, mind you, I'm on the middle floor. There are neighbors next to me that have people above them and below them that would have heard them. Same with on the other side. Okay, and the ones on this side where the mirror is, okay, they want there's a psycho Egyptian American Muslim woman terrorist trying to rape me. Um, on that side where the mirror is, they have people on all sides. They have neighbors on every side. So me, upstairs, downstairs, and the one beside them. If it were coming from them, wouldn't they have heard them? If it's terrorist, if it's the terrorist, if the voices were coming from upstairs, wouldn't that neighbor on that side or the one next to her have heard her? Or if it was the people downstairs, wouldn't the people upstairs and downstairs have heard her? Well, if it was the people downstairs, okay, they have neighbors on either side, wouldn't have either heard them? Which means they would be able to hear it. It would have been reported. Plus, I'd be able to capture it on this live stream. They're clearly not inside my condo. So, where are the voices coming from? And if they're really outside, like along the streets, cars driving by would have heard them. People in their houses would have walked out to see where they were screaming from. This is obviously, they're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American, Muslim, psychopath terrorists screaming in my head, trying to pretend like it's voices coming from outside. And I'm making it super fucking clear. They're talking in my head. I want them sentenced to death. They don't want me here consistently because if the government finds, hey, Renee's saying she's schizophrenic, Renee is completely and utterly safe to approach. Let's tiptoe closer. She's not saying it's her neighbor. She's saying it's just schizophrenic. We can listen in. She's not saying it's people outside. She's not pretending to be on the phone. She's not. Let's listen in and see what's really going on. Let's tiptoe into the situation. They could plant themselves all over. I'm not saying that my neighbors are. I'm saying they're using the same mind control, mind reading, telepathy weapon to say, hey, it's on our records. We didn't hear people screaming like Renee said she's, like she's claiming are. The neighbors didn't hear it clearly if we're hacking into their heads. And here are the records. Here are the records. Here are we. Here are the neighbors. Everybody's coinciding with Renee. There's nobody screaming. But yet here she is on YouTube, live streaming every day, saying she hears voices in her head. And look at this. We're paying for her medical bills, which reminds me, I got to go to the pharmacy. Paying for her psychiatric medication. We're paying for her social security, her housing. We're paying for her welfare and her daughter's welfare. And we've been paying for it for the past 8 years. Or 8 years since my kids were born. I've been getting welfare, and she hasn't had a chance to pick herself up. And haven't these terrorists been saying that they need to investigate her? And now look at all these murders attached to her: Daniel Atkins, David Basile, D'Lo, Le'Veon, CK, Thomas, Jerry, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant went to school with several girls from my church. His wife was best friends with one of our friends, Christina Henna, and she used to hang out with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, Aaliyah, my cousins were in her music video. Florence Joyner Jr. lived in my gated community. Like, it's a little suspicious that all these people surrounding Renee have just suddenly died. And these terrorists talking in my head have a lot of fucking money. They're behind the weapon constantly saying people need investigating. They're, like, it's a little odd. It's a little odd. They don't want all this evidence. They're psychopath, Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking inside of my head. She's with her family. Never did I had a DUI or a drug charge ever in my life. Ever. I've never done drugs. And I don't like drinking. The terrorists were hoping I catch AIDS. They keep calling me ugly so I don't and they're stretching the skin of my forehead and ruining my hair so that I don't get attention from men that have money, because men with money or men without, men, ugly or good looking men, it doesn't matter. If a man has money, he can support me, and 9 times out of 10, they like attractive women. They don't care how ugly they are. So if I'm attractive to men that can support me, they haven't done enough damage to my face. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. Women terrorists. They want the ugly successful men to say, oh, she's not good looking. They don't even want that. And luckily, for them, I'm not, personally, I have a preference. And if I don't feel at par, I'm definitely not sleeping with losers. I'm not sleeping with anybody. I'm vowing to stay celibate, and not even celibate. I'm not dating. There are terrorists. Dating? I'm going to think about dating when a stupid psycho terrorist, Muslim woman terrorist, not Muslim, I'm not putting an emphasis on Islam because it has nothing to do with that. They're terrorists. Is walking around trying to say that she's innocent when she was brutally murdering me and people respecting her and honoring her? The women, or these women, they think that I care about sex? Oh my God, I am so outraged. It's rage that runs through me. I want them sentenced to death. That is all that I'm on my mind, and I'm obsessed over making sure I prove that all I do is I'm innocent. Innocently hanging out with friends, all I want to do is shove how innocent I am in these terrorists' faces. And in front of everyone, to make it clear, no, those bitches are the ones that need investigating, and they need to be sentenced to death. And that is final. It's the women. Do you understand me? They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. And they're the most dangerous ones. because they're the ones, they're the sisters and the daughters of these psychopaths, of these psycho men. So immediately, wouldn't they protect their family? These aren't women that aren't related to them. So if there was a woman whose brother or dad wasn't a terrorist, who clearly wouldn't sign up for this and make themselves that vulnerable? And the women want to marry into these terrorist families that part of their organization and have kids and raise them to be terrorists, dude. The men, if they have to go out, they can't explain. Well, why don't the women there look at it? Look, and there are so many, and the women, they did their faces and their asses, and I don't see Matthew McConaughey with an Egyptian American Muslim woman terrorist. I don't see none of the terrorists talking in my head, as wealthy as they are ever in the eye of the public, ever. Why? Why is that? Because they have to run behind the weapon and people are going to question, well, why are they missing in action all the time? Why are two men sleeping in the same house together, married? Like, they don't want to be on the grid yet. They don't want to show off their money yet but these psychopaths, they're psychos. It's clearly the women, dude. And then mind you, if the men are screaming and following the rules, like they wanted to, the women were the ones who were saying, if you're going to do it so that everybody, we can get away with it, like do it sneaky, and like they're obviously not taking over like we know terrorists to do. So they're about that life. The women are really about that life. It's the women. They're having kids. The men can't have kids. They have kids, and she's like, but I can marry an innocent man. No, you can't. They all know, and they want them sentenced to death. And if they don't know, and this stupid bitch is a woman. So if her man doesn't know that there are terrorists running around, wouldn't that make her vulnerable?
Devin, here is your reminder.
She's not a man.
Check section 8.
Her man would have to know so he could stand up to these
Devin,
stupid
here is your
psychos.
reminder. Check section
If the
8.
terrorist men know and they go and they're innocent, but they know, it's still different. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. I'm telling you, I have dissected this down to the down to as much as you can dissect something. Okay? It's the women. It is the women. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. Women terrorists talking in my head that are responsible for this organization. And mind you, the men that do know about these terrorist women, they want them sentenced to death. They don't want to have kids with them. They're making me sweat. Mm. So I'm ironing my hair, and the terrorist talking in my head tried to get me to iron my ear. They burned me. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 9:16 a.m.
After going through with you, like dogs, like dogs.
Don't. عشان نتفرج على لايف انا وانت بكره هتتخانقوا مع بعض. What's up with any sense to that?
Okay, so there's a terrorist, Egyptian American Muslim man terrorist talking in my head with a fat voice, and you could just tell, like, you're like, I bet you if I saw him, I would think he's the ugliest thing that ever walked the face of this planet. So he keeps saying, look at how we ruined your body. Look at how, and he wants me to say, like, and it's obviously they're using this tactic because it's a guy saying it. Like, they want me saying, I can get a man. I don't look, watch me, you stupid terrorist piece of shit. Any man I get is better than you. That's what they want me to do. He's so stupid, it's not even funny. I want the women sentenced to death for because of these men, like what these men are attempting to do. I want the women, okay? Because honest to God, they're the root of the problem. They're the root. Somebody raised the piece of shit talking in my head. His dad couldn't have had him. So women that are raising them. Yeah. Anyways, okay, gotta go. I'm gonna continue to record, make it clear. I hear them in my head. I don't care. That's his prerogative. He wants to tell the world that. Get off me. So the terrorist talking in my head got mad. One of the men is upset because he can't sway me to go look for men to sleep with that are the biggest losers ever, so that he can make it look like I'm being irresponsible, and furthermore, so that I can go catch a disease. Because his women are going to get sentenced to death for the crimes they're committing. And it's because the women are the ones supporting them, protecting them. They're bailing them out. Well, thank God for these records. Then I can make it clear. So, and who enters that house that you're talking in from? So they're clearly not here. Look, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. In the mirror. So they see you. Google satellite, what is it called? Google Earth basically sees everything. They see you when you're going to their house. Probably in LA. Oh, I was saying they probably live close to the house where they go from, because I would assume if they have kids, they have to be close enough in proximity to where they're constantly like just stepping in and out. Like, oh, okay, my brother has, his kids need something, so I gotta go do it while my kids are, hanging out with their friends. Unless their kids know, but like at what age do they tell them? Do their terrorist parents tell them that they're terrorists? And do their kids understand that this is murder? At 20, do they understand? Look, they're making me so dizzy. At what age do the kids, like, when does it dawn on them, like, that this is, like, the most brutal way to murder people? Do they realize it? After they've done it? It's too late? So they're making me super, super dizzy. And like I said, I've been hearing the women all morning. The men talking in my head don't want me explaining that I hear the women. And they would have cared less if it was just them. He tried to say, if my wife and my daughter and my mom tell you to fucking not say anything, bitch, that means you listen. That's what he wants to say, and it makes me laugh. Right now he said, okay, you don't want to, then we'll see, bitch. We'll see what? You committing crimes and sentencing your entire family to death? Fuck, bitch. You're not gonna get away with this. These records are mine. I mean, I want to get it as soon as I possibly can. I'm for damn sure, sweetheart, if I die this way, you're out of here. Fuck you. I mean, what the fuck? The piece of shit talking in my head is out of his fucking mind. He doesn't want me explaining that I hear the women. And he's raping me, basically. And essentially, he's raping me by saying how ugly I am all the time. Okay, my hair. Should have just put it to the side. I did this the last time and I hated it. They're making me dizzy. My head feels like someone's doing this to my brain. Like it's violent. So the problem is they need me to explain that I hear voices, but they don't want me explaining that it's them talking in my head. And that's the reason why there are no police reports reporting them. It confirms it. And if they wanted to ask what I hear, if it would be if it's the same as if these terrorists were trying to pretend it was a crime, I can tell them verbatim what I heard. And if it's not, then the terrorist, I'm clearly disabled because it's on the record. So one of the men is raping me again. He keeps saying he wants to shove down my throat that I'm not interesting enough to men that make money, although I'm not even thinking about a man. And he wants to remind me there are men, that's why it's a man talking. Because if it were just the women, they would be the last thing on my mind. And they don't want it. They want to bring it to the forefront like, oh my God, we're men. And they make it obvious. Like, haha, you're just jealous. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. If Jordan Peterson heard what I have to say, he would not argue that you need to be sentenced to death. No one would, ever, in life. They're forcing the words, fuck you, out of my mouth. He is hurting me, so he's laughing. One of the men, he's dying to try, like this is foreplay for them or something. I said, you're gonna fucking die so me and my wife can fuck the shit out of each other. Fucking die, bitch. That's what he wants, to murder me so he can go back and fuck his stupid wife senseless. More senseless. They want to celebrate murdering. And getting away with it. Making love sounds like celebrating. Fuck you. Like I said, gross bitch. Nancy is going to be crying about her sons turning 20, 18, 21, all these huge lifetime changes till she dies, okay? How they would have been here and someone took their life away while these stupid whorebags sleep together, fuck each other crazy till they have kids that will see those days that Nancy didn't watch and celebrate with her own kids. I happen to have a huge problem with that. I want the women sentenced to death. I don't want them to do what Nancy can't do anymore. I want them sentenced to death. That is final. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my fucking head. And they're hurting me every time I go anywhere with my daughter. Like, okay, her friend and her wanted to go. Her friend wants to come. They want to hang out. You want to be at the wedding. So my daughter and her kind of ventured off. But they're having fun because the terrorists wanted me to leave. They wanted Leah to complain and complain and complain and complain till she was like, they wanted her to blame Leah. But then she had her friend. So it's like, okay, we can't blame her. If her friend is there, she's going to be having fun. So it's like, oh, guess what, Renee? Why don't you look around? Where is Leah? Where's Leah? So Leah and her friend, I'm like, where are you guys? They're like, oh, we're right here, Mom. We're taking pictures. And the whole time it was like, okay, they took a little longer because Leah said, I'm going to the bathroom, but then ended up on their little walk. And it's a beautiful venue, mind you. There are places to take pictures everywhere, which of course the terrorists didn't want me to do. But my daughter was there, luckily taking pictures. And like, go look for your daughter. Like, they wanted me to get away from everyone who will witness to me being at the wedding not drunk and not out of my mind. And a good mom and a good cousin and a good everything. Yeah. The terrorist, one of the women talking in my head keeps saying, Maggot doesn't want to walk away. She means she doesn't want to die quietly. They're trying to water it down. They keep saying stupid bitch, like this is a little like, we're just a little bit of banter or like a little argument between two teenage high school kids. These are straight serial killers talking inside my fucking head. Inside my fucking head. There are serial killers talking inside my fucking head. Stupid bitch. They're hurting me because they want to know, it's a conflict of interest for the bitches talking in my head to be talking in my head, or it's a conflict of interest for them to be using a telepathy, mind control, mind reading war weapon, and someone has schizophrenia or an abnormal brain activity that's sporadic. Like, well, you guys could say that was her. And it's obvious if they can say that, then the weapon has little like glitches still to it. Where it's like more than one person can be attacking you. One can be investigating you while another one attacks you. And it's like, well, if you're investigating her and her brain activity isn't consistent, is abnormal from what this, then she's clearly disabled. You guys have to conclude your investigation. And like I said, I hear more than one voice. Ha ha. That's how disabled I sound. I have to work on. I want to work out this week. I want to sleep early to get to the gym. One of them said, haha, that's a fucking joke. We'll see about that. Let's find out why, bitch. Fuck you. They make me dizzy, so I can't cook. Shut up. It's like, okay, so you're a grown woman now. What do grown women like? They like immature behavior. Guess what we're gonna fucking put a dub on? Consider us the most immature, stupidest psychopaths you've ever known. One of one of the men that was talking earlier, the one that I said is fat and ugly, when it became obvious, oh, and then his stupid friend, because there was another one in there. I have a harder time keeping track of the women's voices. I hear women, like I hear, it's obvious when it's a woman versus a man. But it's not like how, if they switched up voices, I have a hard time identifying sometimes. I don't know if it's because they're playing with my memory or what. She's right, there is one or two that I remember distinctly. They keep screaming stupid bitch over and over again in my head. Hi, Mika. Americans sentenced to death. Do you hear me? They're Egyptian American Muslim women. They're talking in my head. They're making me dizzy. They're making me dizzy. So anyways, like I was saying, I hear the men, and of course I hear women. And I'm extremely dizzy. They're aggressively attacking me. Now it's been 2.5 hours. Trying to see if they could get me too depressed to want to go out, sounding too angry, and they want me kicked off. YouTube. Plenty of time for them to find out if the voices are coming from my neighbors or not. I guess the government figures if they have all the access in the world to identify where voices are coming from, then the terrorists talking in my head have no excuse to continue on their investigation. At a certain point, it's obvious that they're talking in my head. The same voices while I'm driving from Mission Viejo to Irvine. The whole drive there. They're hurting me. They're hurting me. Do you know how do you know how highly compensated I will be? You're so stupid to think I don't have my priorities straight. And if I don't, you're getting sentenced to death. Period. So, like I said, I don't hear any babies ever. So their kids must be either adult children or what the fuck, what these women are waiting, they're being responsible to get away with murder before they have kids, so they don't have to turn them into, like they're admitting they're going to turn them into terrorists if they have to have kids while they haven't cleared their records yet. Like they're not even, what the fuck, I don't hear kids. I hear a bunch of grown-ass psycho-terrorists. Because she wants to conclude to, oh, they're going to put her family. No, they want to send these terrorists to death. It sounds to me like they have grown kids the way these terrorists are holding on to me. That will also be facing the death penalty. Just spending the money. I mean, at what age do they not ask? People, what do we live in? What world are you living in? Their kids don't say if they're in their 20s and they don't know mom and dad, where do you disappear to? I'm making it clear they're all a bunch of fucking terrorists. They're all a bunch of terrorists. Yeah, I die or adult kids die and they don't get to watch their kids walk down the aisle. If they haven't already, they won't get to see their grandkids grow. They won't get the money will be, they're gonna take their money. Throw them out on the street.
Renee,
Yeah.
here's your reminder. No net adjustments. Renee, here's your reminder. No net adjustments.
She's basically saying if we're all adults, what do we have to lose? Well, if any of them have little kids, their kids won't be terrorists. They'll be able to live a normal life. Oprah did it. Oprah was an orphan. Isn't that what she said? They're making me vomit. The terrorist women are making me vomit for brushing my teeth. They want to say I don't have good hygiene. They play with my head to the point like I'm so tired, and then at the same time they could turn around and play with my head like make me exhausted, abuse me and torture me to literal exhaustion. And I'll be ready to knock out right where I'm sitting. And the minute I go into my bed, they stop my mind from being able to fall asleep. The men are saying, okay, you want to fucking explain, you stupid bitch? So they keep abusing me more and more because I hear the women talking in my head. And I'm making it clear that they're talking in my head. So if the women weren't there and he didn't want me, would he have been doing this? Would he have turned himself in? I are. She keeps calling me a retarded piece of shit because I'm protecting people. I'm protecting everyone from these psychos. By not keeping my mouth shut about hearing them. See, they're forcing words out of my mouth. This suffocation, like, you're ugly, you're ugly. They're murderers. Like, okay, we destroyed her image. We got her thrown out on the street. Now we're gonna make this poor woman, okay, who they traffic out on the street, and then they make their acid build up in their legs till their legs rot, and they have to be amputated. Like, oh, I guess she can't work, and then they have her stuck in the streets, not working, while they scream in her head and try to make it sound like voices coming from outside. With not a cell phone, not anything. So she can't get back on her feet. That's the message. Like, how is she gonna do that, government, with no legs? Like, that's how stupid psycho these terrorists sound in my head. That's how they are. That is how they are. That is really how the women are. It is never a waste of time to sit here and discuss you. I want you sentenced to death. While I'm still here. I don't care what the weapon can do on its own. Why would I want the weapon to... And then that means I have to wait till I die? Why don't we say something and see if we could speed it up so I don't have to die to sentence you to death? How stupid do you think I am? One woman, go fucking die. That's what she said in my head right now. Now she said my daughter's name. We'll hear about that, sweetheart. We've seen it time and time again. The entire family doesn't get prosecuted because family member was a psychopath. The stupid psycho terrorists talking in my head want their kids to keep the money. They keep the money without clearing the records. The kids have to hop behind the weapon. They're terrorists. They spend the money. They're terrorists. They do anything without clearing the records before their kids turn 18. Their kids are terrorists. Well, they can have kids, honey. So at least they could keep they could keep your family going. Who gives a shit? Tell your fucking irresponsible, stupid, psycho, fucking piece of shit. And honestly, as if they have self-control. Fuck you. Here I am explaining. I hear them in my head. which will clearly get them sentenced to death. And I gotta go get my medicine. I gotta hurry up. And they can't stop attacking me with the weapon. I am so dizzy. And like I said, I don't hear kids, so these are adults. I mean, who knows? These are all, who knows, who knows? Who knows? I don't know them. I keep making that clear. I don't know them. The bitch talking in my head keeps trying to like create this image in my mind of me knowing them. I don't know them. I don't know how they're living. All I know is they're talking in my head all the time, and they're walking around when they break each other to parade around and make appearances and take credit for other people's work. Their work. They're stealing people's money. The terrorist talking in my head. How did you get the money from if they're not printing it? Like the government wants to give these psycho terrorist women a break. Give me a break. These bitches are out of here. How when everybody's comfortable? No, you just brought up a really good point. We have all this money floating around, and all of a sudden the dollar spikes up, and these bitches are way on top of everyone. She's laughing like, you sound stupid. You sound stupid while I'm live streaming. She's just mad because I'm exploring. And when I explore like this, I think, and I don't know if I could be right, I could be wrong, I haven't thought about it. She's talking in my head to stop me from thinking. All that like laughing and trying to stop you from thinking. You know damn well if I decide to put my mind to it and think about it, sweetheart, I will. And then it'll be obvious that you're trying to stop me from thinking about it. You dumbass psych shit. And I will revisit it. She doesn't want me visiting these places in my mind that think about how they're sentencing these terrorists to death. Because if I do, then I'll align with the government and I'll make sure they get sentenced to death. And on top of it, it'll push me to do what I got to do more, because then I'll know what then I'll know they're actively pursuing sentencing them to death. There you go. You're a fucking idiot. Still going this. Hi, baby. Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. Get off of me! Never in anyone's life will they hear terrorists like the women talking in my head. I'm glad that they're Egyptian American Muslim terrorists, and well, that we're both Egyptian is what I'm trying to say, because it's obvious it's not a racist thing. It's not even a religious thing. They're psychopaths. And the whole thing behind religion, dude. That way they could spread the name of Islam and control more people with, like, across the globe, not just in their countries, and divide people. And at the same time control, like, it's just sickening. Yeah. She's mocking me. She's like, that bitch wants me to die. They're psycho every second of the day. Like, okay, well, if people on my feed get tired of hearing me, and they're on my YouTube channel, and they log in, and they're like, day after day they hear me saying, I hear Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, they get tired. Naturally, this is like, for someone to be this obsessed with you is obviously a problem. Something's wrong with that bitch. Something's wrong with these women. I want them to say something's wrong with me. See how they're not obsessed? There's nobody on the planet. This doesn't make sense. People get tired, honey, you stupid psycho. They're Egyptian, American, Muslim women terrorists. They're proving my point. No one on the face of the planet, okay, would ever entertain me talking about them as much as I'm talking about them. So imagine, like, what like, if you could hear what I hear, it's triple, quadruple it is infinitely more psychotic than what I sound like discussing what I'm hearing in my head. The women are obsessed. I'm putting on my makeup, so my mind is not on them, like chasing them around. They're hurting my eye. They're hurting my eye. They want it to look like I do drugs, so they keep burning my eye. Haha, the men you tried to make me feel uncomfortable about don't even want to. They're not all. They're not as obsessed as you psycho. Exactly, exactly. So if I'm sitting here and they know I'm going to log on every day to discuss you, the terrorist talking in my head is sick. There are men that hop on my feed. They've said disgusting things. They're looking for me to get undressed. They like that now. They're realizing, hey, this channel is really about her schizophrenia. She's not who we thought she is. They're over it. Like they're not obsessed. The women talking in my head are obsessed freaks, dude. Haha, I'm making it clear. And now we're going on, what, 3 hours? Obsessed freak. What's the problem, honey? Why can't you stop talking in my head and just do what you have to do? They're a one-man band. Right. Anyways, I'm done. She's saying whatever she has to say, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not, and that's the part that bothers her is that I don't completely disregard her and I don't completely take her seriously. It's more like, okay, when I put some thought into it, if it makes sense, the bitch she might have been honest about it, but that doesn't mean that she's not still a psychoterrorist. She's trying to use it as a tool still. Like the bitch is talking in my head. That's all there is to it. And no one else. Like if we didn't talk so much, they would kill you. Like, why don't you go explain that then? Why are you talking in my head and committing a crime if this is what you were looking for so that you can launder money? Wouldn't this be the investigation case they were looking for? Who knows what I would be? And why are you trying to control it if that's the case? You're still talking in my head. What's the difference? She's like, they would give you a stroke, but the bitch is talking in my head and she gives me a stroke. They're causing me a stroke all day long. The fuck? Like, you would probably be completely and utterly handicapped. She's talking in my head, trying to decide exactly who I hang out with, what I do, if I can breathe normally, if I sound like I'm snorting so that I sound like a pig and not sexy, in case there's a guy who's possibly attracted to me. Like, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck is the difference? It's just not your record? And why are they so much more bold to do it than you? They're not being bold in that sense. And what do you mean it's a one and done thing? You want to keep talking in my head every day? The women are clearly they're trying to get away with the murders, the serial killing that they've committed, like all the murders they've committed. They're serial killers. And there are people that are aggressively going after them. And these terrorists, it's not about, oh, if they cause me a stroke or not. The bitches want to make sure they don't have access to the records. So they're playing these games trying to make it sound like what I hear is coming from outside. They want them sentenced to death because they were intending to murder me any fucking way. They're murdering me anyway. The terrorist talking in my head had nothing but plans to murder me anyway. So the government wanted to stop them. They're saying the government wants to stop us, so they'd be willing to handicap you. Like, well, if I'm gonna die anyway. And because you were planning on murdering me, well, what the fuck? What difference does it make? And they don't have any other way to stop you from doing it to my kids? Like, these are psychopaths. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They are psychos. They're talking in my head. I don't care. Like, honest to God, if the government came forward and said, this is what we had to fucking do, I would side with them on everything. No matter what. The terrorists talking in my head, it's been 8 years of me actually hearing them loudly. Okay? And I can tell you for a fact they need to be sentenced to death. And whatever measures need to be taken should be taken immediately. They're psycho. It doesn't make sense why you're talking in my head. It makes sense what you said because they want you sentenced to death. It doesn't make sense why you're talking in my head. It doesn't make sense why you're talking in my head. That's what doesn't make sense. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. No one gives a shit if your psycho dad was crying because he was facing the death penalty. The terrorists talking in my head are out of their fucking minds. And now their daughters are talking in my head. They're brothers. They're brothers. It's their dads and their stupid psycho brothers.
This is a reminder. Call Ed Financial.
All of them, they're just
This is a
disgusting. They want to.
reminder.
They're playing with my
Call
head,
Ed
so
Financial.
I'm all over the place. They're talking in my head. What doesn't make sense is, okay, if the government's willing to do whatever these terrorists they're saying they're going to commit a crime, like, well, why wouldn't you turn them in then? Why are you committing a crime? Well, then it's obvious it's what the gut. If I'm the one, these terrorists they're still talking in my head. Okay, then the government isn't the one that's in the wrong here. It's the terrorists talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. They have shit to hide. I want them sentenced to death. Period. Ha 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 ha. They're trying to do this to drag my family into another investigation at the same time and destroy records and manipulate mine and murder me and get away with it. Like, if it had nothing to do with us, and what? And then, mind you, if it was just us, why in the fuck, or just me, why in the fuck can't they just go find someone to investigate that's an actual criminal? Everybody sees me and what I'm doing. They don't want me live streaming because here is evidence that I'm not a criminal. I'm going to the lake with Jenny from my Bible study group. And the terrorists talking in my head don't want me looking like the normal, healthy, sweet human being that I am. They're hurting my feet. They're like, my feet are aching. Like, they're like, who the fuck said you can go? And that's the point, is that they see, like, I will fight through it to make it clear. Like, I'm in pain, yet I'm still showing up because they don't want me to go. That is the main thing. And they're willing to break my back, but they don't want to do it completely because then they'll get sentenced to death. So they're trying to gauge it. Like, okay, maybe if we hurt her just a little bit more. Okay, that's not working. A little more until I want them to completely and utterly break my back to make it clear they're fucking psychopaths that didn't want me working. Let them make that clear. I'm trying to see a PT, a physical therapist. I have a neurologist. I have a psychiatrist. You want to tell me I'm not trying to take care of myself? You keep me up all night so I don't go to the gym? And then when I do, they make me so sick to my stomach. They suffocate me. They make me sick to my stomach, and they make my body so weak. I cannot lift weights. I can't. Physically, my body can't do it. And it's like they don't want to attack me to make it obvious, so they keep me up all night so that I'm too tired. And then it's like, well, all we have to do now is stop her from going to work. And they don't want me thinking like, okay, I'm going to the lake. Let me put on a bathing suit. Like, how am I supposed to, they don't want me doing I want them sentenced to fucking death, please. This isn't living. I'm fighting for my kids. I'm done. This is death. I'm dead. The only thing that's left is I'm trying to protect my kids so they can move on, and I want to do it as quickly as possible because they're slowly growing. My daughter's 16. My son is almost 20. These bitches spent 8 years in my talking in my fucking head. They have no fucking problem with wasting people's time and abusing them and torturing them to death.